we are here with James today. I have the nice James on the telephone. Don't know James?
Hi.
And James and I have got together to have a little chat, haven't we, James? But James, yeah, what are we going to talk about today, James? Anything and everything, or you've got a message today?
Well, it's been really interesting seeing karma. I watched, gone through the experience of watching films and things on Netflix, and it's like I'm watching the same story with just different stage settings. But there's one called Glitch, in which these people come back from the dead, and one of the ways they find they're dead is when they're given a teacup, they instantly drop it because it's too hot. So sure enough, what do I see yesterday? My mother picks up the teapot. She didn't fortunately drop it, she put it down straight away. She went, "Ow, that's hot." And I thought, oh. I thought I've just seen that the day before in a sci-fi thing, and now I'm seeing it for real.
Television
funny.
That becomes real.
Yeah. Well, I might as well talk about it. I've been in a sort of discussion with my mother. I said, I'm a walk-in. So I ended up saying to her, "Do you even know what a walk-in is?" And eventually she said, "No, still hasn't looked into it." So I explained it to her, and then I thought, wonder what that feels like. So then yesterday, my daughter comes round and sitting by the pond, she says to me, "I didn't know you'd be here." And I said, "Does that make any difference then?" She said, "Well, I wouldn't have come if you were here." And I thought, well, that's good, that keeps life simple, because I sort of know where I stand now.
Very hurtful, James.
Well, no, I'm not hurt by it, actually. I mean, if I'm really honest with myself, I can still procreate children. I could have more children. The big question is, I don't particularly like children, to be honest. I find them noisy. They take up too much attention. You've got to feed them. No, thank you. I certainly don't want any more children.
Oh, James, I think I've been insulted quite a lot by my own children who, a couple of my kids, they've been, So I kind of understand. And
well,
then when you wake up, they see things differently, don't they?
What I found from sort of 12 years of family history research, this is just a repeat. This is just a cycle, and I think sometimes you just got to let the Titanic head towards the iceberg, because most people, I mean, even if you point the iceberg out, they will say, "It's not there, I can't see it." Like Nelson, "I see no ships." Well, no, because they're typically looking through the bedroom window of lady whatever her name is.
It's very hard to say what to say until it happens to you. If you haven't got children, it's not going to bother you, but if you do, it's one of the worst things your kids can say to you.
Well, everything is feeling, and it's like when you feel a particular thing, that's when you need to sort of be the observer of yourself and think, okay, why am I feeling this emotion? What's triggering this in me? It changed the perspective on everything. Because
did she talk any more to you then, James, or was that all she said to you?
That's all she said. Then she's quite surprised when she suddenly said, "Oh, I've got to go." Her brother was outside, sent a text message to pick her up. So I didn't even look up. I just went by, and she's like surprised. And I thought, well, you say that, and that, what do you want to hug? Yeah, I could have handled it differently. Certainly inside
so
me.
So basically, your daughter's been lied to by the mum.
Well, yeah, I mean, I take responsibility for my behaviour at the time. I didn't know any different. It's all system programming.
How long is it that you've not seen her for then, James?
That's probably twice I've seen her this year. I mean, she only lives 20-minute walk away. And I've said repeatedly, it's open door policy, maybe just an idea to ring first in case there's a doctor's appointment for the grandmother. But apart from that, come round any time. I mean,
So basically, with her being like that, she doesn't have a lot of respect for you then, James?
Well, probably none at all. But hey, I can live with it.
How long is it that you've not been like there, like living with her?
15 years.
That was before you lived in Brighton then, or after you lived in Brighton, or they just moved there? Is that where you come from?
Oh, that's where I came from originally, but I haven't lived there for years. So now this is all in Ipswich.
I wouldn't like my children talking to me like that, but they have been very weird to me. Because I'm a truther and because they don't like what I say, but they come up to you basically telling you about like conspiracy. So I say, well, flat Earth, and they think, I can't talk to you then, and I think flat Earth covers them all, but they think, I can't talk to you, and it's just gone a bit like that. So
if anything about what we're told is true, I mean, you're faced with what, a 2-mile high wall of ice to get over. It's going to be pretty cold. It doesn't actually appeal to even look. It's like, I don't really care. It's like arguing over the back screen on Mario Brothers. Were the chimneys there before the castles? And it's all irrelevant, really. It is what it is. What people don't see is the mirrors. I sat here and I had lunch and I watched the lunchtime news. Now, most people I think I'm meaning I'm watching the television. What I'm actually meaning is I'm looking through the double glazing out into the garden. That's the real news. That's the signs shown to you during the day. The stars are the signs at night. So if you see any particular thing that catches your eye, like with me, it's got this nice little friendship going on with this dragonfly, and just look up the spiritual meaning. That's the real news being shown to us by nature.
What does the dragonfly one say? Like I know what the fly one says. You're uncovering things that people can't see.
Yep. Dragonfly, I think, is spiritual transformation, I seem to remember. And
you feel that the dragonfly is quite gentlemanly towards you, don't you?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I sit outside the kitchen window, and it's not been here today because of the weather. That's a reflection of the lockdown news, the drop in temperatures, the unsettled winds, the rain. That's collective unconscious emotions, because air is spirit. So the weather is reflecting collectively how humanity is feeling, that the unsettled winds is all this confusion. The mother on the phone saying she's got to self-isolate for 3 days before going into hospital. She's going to be picked up by a taxi because I can't take her, because she's got to self-isolate. And then she's saying to whoever she's talking to, that sounds absolutely crazy to me. And it's like, well, if something seems to be too good to be true, it's because it is too good that's crazy. It is crazy. It's that simple, isn't it? I mean, do you want to do Big Bang Theory? I'll be Dr. Sheldon Cooper, and you can be Amy Farrah Fowler. We can have fun with flags if you like.
Well, you know, I've had a bit of a problem with my QAnon video. Those that are into Q, listen, those that are into Q just insult me. This background, insulting me, having a go at me, blaming me for everything, all because I'm trying to tell them that Trump's or the QAnon is part of the game. Are you all right with yourself? You know, it's the other way round. I'm with yourself. You know, they won't accept that it's all a game, James. It's all a game. All of it's a game, and they're supposed to be truthers.
You've only got to look at what they give us for right. So take the United States flag. You've got the 13 stripes of red and white, which represents the 13 original states. So that's pretty much from the Canadian border down to Florida. So you're going to have untapped minerals and things. I mean, mining's nothing new, is it? I mean, you don't know where you're going to find gold, but you've got a huge potential with that landmass. So, now I know this from family history, 2 letters that came over in 1861 and 62 asking about the whereabouts of this guy's sister who had died 2 years previously. So you can see that snail mail by ship, even in the 1850s, it's like a 6-month crossing. So if you're people on this landmass that's sort of miles away from England and Wales, and you said, right, well, I think what the King's taxes are excessive, we don't want to pay these anymore, so we're going to write a little letter with this Declaration of Independence and we'll set ourselves up. So to distinguish ourselves from England and Wales, we will have a flag that is red and white. So we are clearly distinguishable from, let's think about this, Christianity, the Templar Knights, the state of Genoa. What else have I missed? Oh yeah, England's flag, the City of London, Switzerland. Oh, that's funny. They're all red and white, aren't they? So that's really distinctive. You can see how ludicrous that whole story is. Could you imagine if 13 of us got together and we called ourselves the Founding Fathers and said, we're setting up the independent state of East Anglia, for example, do you think they're going to let us do it? I mean, the King of England doesn't exactly put up a fight, and what does he do with the one that signs over the independence of the United States? He gets rewarded for losing this colony and head of, was it East India Tea Company or something? they like to look after themselves, they always have, for all that control system.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Everything is so ludicrous. I mean, one of the best
I think the mode is confusion.
Yeah, well, I would direct people over to Quantum of Conscience channel. We ask three very simple questions on there, which proves people haven't got a clue. The first test question is, what is the predominant colour of an apple? Then is like, what do you know about the Statue of Liberty? And what do you know about the Statue of Freedom? And the bull crap that people come out with, and they've got absolutely no clue about anything. Oh, and what does Christmas mean to you is another good one. Which is basically bringing in Christmas trees, Santa Claus, Yule logs, mistletoe is all pagan. And Christianity will tell you that anything pagan is evil. So why the hell are they celebrating? I mean, how ridiculous is that?
Yeah, why do they celebrate a day that's not even on the right day?
Well, there's absolutely no...
I mean, is there about 4 months too early? They should be in April.
There's not one shred of historical evidence of this Son of God ever existing. That's because, well, I can talk you through the historical basis of it. It's a descendant of Julius Caesar, JC, and Cleopatra.
Really? Cleopatra?
Yeah, he was the heir to Persia, the Roman Empire, and Egypt. He is King Isis of Persia.
Right.
Who's a little-known king that's sort of vanished into history. Ralph Ellis lectures, he's looked into this. There's even a coin minted. The crown of these shepherd kings from Persia was a seashell which is gold-coloured and looks like a crown of thorns in gold. Sound familiar? Now, let's add into the mix a bit of astrology. Now, if you're in Australia, or you'll see the sun at its highest point there, or lowest point from where we are, and 3 days later, the sun rises again. Sound familiar? It dies.
And who is this, James?
3 days later, it rises again. I wonder where that idea came from.
Who was that again, by the way, the other one?
Well, that's the resurrection story, which has been heavily using astrology. Because that's all it is. It's astrology. The sun with 12 disciples is 12 constellations.
1 second, James. Stay there just a second. Don't say anything. My speaker's making a little bit of noise. Hopefully no one can hear it. It's just going... I don't know why it's doing that, but... Anyway, yeah. Sorry, carry on, James.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you want to look at it from another perspective, the Bible, from Genesis to Revelations, is your autobiography. It's everybody's autobiography. It is...
Well, you know what they say, don't you, now, that Shakespeare is... he wrote King James Bible, is... Yeah, he wrote King James Bible.
Well, add on to that, you've got a prison ship with slaves on it. What are the chances of one slave being called Saul, who later changes his name to Paul, and does several U-turns? 1 minute he's in the Roman army, then he's done a U-turn, then he's done another U-turn, and you've also got somebody called Josephus, who's also on a slave ship who washes up in Rome. Same story, because it's one and the same person. So the first rewriting looks to be this Josephus. So he has added in the Jewish uprising in AD 70 into the equation, which is this King Isis. This is also why the Muslims have that festival where they dye their beards ginger, because these are Egyptian shepherd kings. This is what the Exodus is all about as well. It's also why you've got Minoan temples in Egypt, because of the trading. You've got these mysterious sea people involved in this that go under many, many masks and masquerade and many, many different names, secret societies and whatnot, and even masquerading to pretend to be two opposing political parties, always red and blue. Everything we are faced with is an illusion.
You're right about that, James.
It's all smoke and mirrors.
Do you know what? I rang up the job centre yesterday. It's closed.
Yeah.
It's closed. Can't go there.
No.
All this stuff on your benefits where they tell you that they're going to ring you up and all this is going on. You ring up, it says due to coronavirus we're closed.
It's hilarious, isn't it, in a way?
It is, but it isn't. There's nowhere to go for jobs. You have to do everything online. How can they control the online thing?
Because it's electronic, it's far easier to control online. That's their version of an all-seeing eye. If you look at what's...
I know, but the whole country is unemployed at the moment, and the job centres closed. They don't go together. They needed to bring us down, shut us up, and then, then they can, pretend. They can shut that.
It's all contrasts. Say, for example, you were to build and create Brands Hatch, and now you've built the sports car. Now you want the experience of driving that sports car around Brands Hatch. So the creator has created everything, and I can understand the perspective. If I had the mindset of a hunter, I can't think of a better thing to hunt than humans. The thrill, the adrenaline rush. I mean, forget things like paddy power. That would be the ultimate extreme of it. But where it would obviously be wrong is the people that are being hunted are probably not given a choice. And on those grounds, I would oppose it. But I can see the perspective. And if you look at all the things like computer games, you're sitting still and you're pumping adrenaline, which is bad for the body. This is all deliberate. This is all to make us sick.
Oh, great. Just another...
Now,
I ever thought all this up must have been... I don't know, it's just so... It's so mind-boggling to think that they want to make all these things up for us to fall for.
Well, it's a mirror because it also shows how strong we really are. Because for something to go to that length, to assault us in every possible way from the pumping...
Well, I think this whole programme is to make us as miserable as possible.
Well, it is. It is to basically degrade degrade humanity down to an even lower level than it's already at. But it's just a game. It's you just got to find your way through the snakes and ladders and get from 0 to 100, or 1 to 100 on the checkerboard.
Go, take the money and don't look back.
Well, the biggest illusion of all of this is the whole thing is just a matrix. I mean, you hear the expression about religious dogma. Well, that's just flipped over. I mean, dog backwards is God, and what is God? I am. Well, that's M-A, reversed A-M. They're basically uploading your consciousness into a computer. This is squaring the circle again. This is giving you an electronic collective consciousness. It's the mirror of the natural source of creation, which is, so we call it God. It's in infinite forms in each and every one of us. It is in everything. The space is in between as well. So it's playing a game with itself.
It's all a game, though, isn't it, James? That's the sad bit. It's all a game.
Well, yeah, we're taught to believe that we are our thoughts, our personality. We're just the operating system of this creator having an experience through these vessels.
I'm looking at this sun right now. I mean, I must admit, it's a bit weird looking at the moment, but when Robert shows the sun, it is in the clouds. The clouds are behind it. There's no way that sun is coming through all those clouds to be there. You can see the clouds behind it. All Robert says is the sun is very local. It's local. But for each one of us, it's local, which is just impossible. We haven't even worked things like this out. How can the sun, if I got on a plane, how could it follow me from England to America? And yet it's only in England, it's in England, and in America, it's in America. It's all a bit strange, really.
It's just perspectives and things. We've all got internal suns. This reality, this five-sense reality is the Baphomet 5. This is the deceiver. This is just electrical frequencies that seems very real, but you are not your body. You are a soul in an organic vessel in this reality.
You can feel the heat on your hands, though, when you go outside, James.
Sorry?
You do feel the heat from it when you go outside. That heat up, do you? You go outside, it can be, well, it's cloudy today in England, but it has been quite warm. It's been quite nice, hasn't it?
Well, it's reflecting the mood of people with this new curfew. I mean, I'm gonna be making myself.
James.
I'm going to be making myself a yellow hexagram armband and wearing it before long, because it will show me your papers. You must be endorsed by 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it's like news.
Well, that is what is happening. I mean, at least the symbology is honest this time. A mask over people's mouths. It's telling it.
Well, it's not even. That's not even a law.
No, it isn't. It's their laws. I mean, show me and introduce me to the government, and I'll shake his or her hand. I bet you can't do it, because it doesn't exist. It's a dead entity held together by a collective belief in it. There is no government. There is no the church. They're just illusions. That's why everything is on paper, because it's stationary, because it's dead. It's committed to paper. They're making an impression on your mind, and if you want to take the impression to its gravest level, it's engraving on a headstone in capital letters. All part of their sick ritual. But it's just one big joke. It really is. I mean, everybody's heard of the flood, where you've got one going on right now, and people aren't even seeing it. It's called information technology. There's your flood. It's electronic this time round, not water. All they're
Mm.
flip-flopping. If they
I mean,
can't steal your body, they try and steal your
well, they
your
do,
mind.
because
If they
what it
can't steal your
is
mind, they
they
want your
made
soul.
sure people like our parents never looked after us properly and abandoned us. And then that creates a narcissistic society after that.
You can't blame it.
The children are narcissists.
It's the way the system is training them.
So
to
they
be. You can't actually
so
blame
want
anyone
this
for it.
narcissistic society where everybody just thinks of themselves.
But it's like you see a family of people and they're all morbidly obese. It's bad diet. It's not breaking the cycle and eating the same greasy food, the same bad habits. They're not breaking the cycle. So this is mind food. This is all about states of mind.
I know, but when you were growing up, you never thought that you'd be looking at it like this, though, did you? That it would be this bad? I mean...
Well, it's basically a Mandela effect, isn't it? A Mandela jump. Most people have gone with it. But there's the rest of us that got left behind and said, this ain't right. So, I mean, where's these 200 million deaths supposed to be as deadly as Spanish flu? So where are they? Where's all the people dropping down the street?
Well, I said that, James, because
China?
what it was, it's the time of the suffragettes, and there was a depression, but they never talked about Spanish flu. They stuck that one in as well and pretended like that happened then, so that it would sort of show us what we were going to have to go through now.
Well, it's just a repeat script. I mean, you could look at it and say it's the Book of Revelations. You've got California fires in Australia. You've got floods in another area. You've got plagues of locusts in Africa. That looks like the apocalypse, doesn't it? I mean, 7 deadly plagues of Egypt everywhere, all being acted out on this world stage. But the stage has many doors and many trapdoors, and a curtain. You just got to see through the Wizard of Oz.
And don't forget, we're punneling around space at Mach 80.
Hey?
We're punneling around space at Mach 80.
Oh yeah.
In 3 different directions.
Well, that's the plant in the unconscious mind. We're insignificant and we don't count for anything.
Well, all you've got to do is just wake up and do a bit of research, and then you know.
It's telling you the opposite. It's giving you the answer in an opposite form. They're telling you black is white and white is black. Checkerboards again. But as the saying goes, things aren't always black and white. There's a lot of shades of grey.
Oh yeah, you're right about that one, James.
Things will never appear the way they appear to be. Everything just falls apart. Yeah,
you start looking at something, you'll come out with a different response than the one you thought when you went in to look at it.
Yeah. Look, none of the stories are plausible. They're laughable. If people can't see the
Well, even isn't it that they've made Trump now into like the Roman emperor who's coming to save us?
Oh yeah.
They called him something the other day, and I thought, oh my God, it's like he's a Roman emperor.
You got a choice in the States. You can have Joe Biden.
Who is Trump? Who is Trump? I just watched a video last night. Sparky Lee's did it. Biden is Trump.
Well,
do you want me to show you that? Hang on, James. I'm going to put that on the computer for everyone to see. Hang on. They also played Bush Jr. Then Princess Monaco is... Oh, I'm recording now, aren't I? Yeah, Princess Monaco is Marie Presley. Oh, it just goes on. It's awful, and they just all play each other. Here we go. He's showing you now. Princess Monaco of Princess Caroline of Monaco plays Trump's wife.
Basically, I mean,
you're mad. You're insane.
Which one do you want? Do you want Trump and then you're going to get the learned elders of Zion script, or do you want Biden and you're going to get Albert Pike's script, or the other way around? I mean, the end result is still the same.
He's just got that little boy up. Please, sir, I want more. You know, in the I forget what it is now. Please, sir, I want more porridge. Right, he's got a he's got a news reporter on right now, and he's going to show you he's somebody else. You think, oh my God, he even puts him into, he could be Bush, but I like the Biden one, which is coming up. Surely someone noticed that he's like Trump. I don't know, he fits in. I don't know why they all fit in with each other. You know, when you put a picture on the top, they all overlay okay. Why, if they're not the same people, does that happen?
The thing is, I can't verify any of it.
No, but they do look like these other people, and we know they play games with us and that they all are actors, so it just, yeah.
Well, for at least the last 50, 60 years, it's proven beyond any doubt that the media lies. So why would I start believing them now?
Here we go. So basically, right now, Biden and Trump are on 48. Oh my God, they are the same person! You can see it! I was watching this last night and it blew my mind. Biden and Trump are the same person. And I just saw it in that picture there that they were the same person. Oh my God. This is a bit like you have to slap your face a little bit because, you know, never thought of Biden being Trump before. But they're very, very similar. And, you know, the only difference is that Trump's got that big wisp of hair on top of his head, whereas Biden doesn't. And anyway, all they do is they tweak it. They'll make Trump's head a bit wider and a bit longer. Still the same person.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I just, like, when I saw this, I just want to scream and bang my feet on the ground.
The only one I watch is a channel called Metal Trump, where they put clips of where he said things and make songs like Bohemian Rhapsody out of it, but that's, to me, more believable, to be honest.
It's sick to think that they would do this.
Well, you've got to hand it to them. I mean, they're good actors.
Well, two people play Biden, Brian Williams and Trump. They play Biden. But I hadn't thought of Trump being Biden, but oh my goodness, when he does these pictures, they're so alike. And the only difference is that they just put hair on top of Trump, which Biden doesn't have.
You've also got that whole blonde hair thing going on with Boris and Trump, so they're like out the same spot. It's all symbolism. It's all that whole sort of Aryan eugenics thing on display that people aren't seeing on that as well. It's just a screen of illusions. The worst part about it is...
I just can't get over how they can be playing all these different people.
Well, people always talk about how the radio broadcast was changed from 432 to 440 for no reason, but no one ever thinks about the television and what's that being broadcast at. How's that affecting your magnetics?
The only difference is that if you just put somebody who looks like him in, and then you play his voice, people think it's him anyway because they can hear the voice.
Well, it's been shown on so many videos they can superimpose a different face and still have the same voice.
Yeah, I'm just a bit still shocked about Joe Biden is Trump. Oh my God. It sounds like a joke, doesn't it? But he's going to show you.
Well, the answer's in the Bible on that one. It's where it says, Christ says, drink no more the waters, taste only the wine. Wine being in an animal's skin, it's an allegorical reference to saying go within with the answers. Stop looking at all the crap and the illusions that are going on outside. It's shown in Wizard of Oz, Toto, the lapdog. The gut feeling pulls the screen back and reveals the wizard is just an illusion.
It's all an illusion. That's the sad bit. You know, it was really hard for me to get my head round that nothing was real.
It's the system creating mindsets that are perpetuating this. All the media does is suggest ideas. It's humanity that acts this out. Because if humanity didn't act it out, you would have no the government.
Well, we know what government means, don't we? Govern the mind. They're not here to look after us or help us. They're here to govern us.
Yeah. Well, the Bible is split into two parts. One is called the Old Testament, one is called the New Testament. It's a test of the mind.
Can't get over Biden and Trump are the same person. Sorry, it's just showing on the computer now that they're the same person. And you're like, oh my goodness. Oh yeah, and listen, Caroline, Princess Caroline, had a husband that died, and she got married again to Prince Ernest. Prince Ernest is her first husband.
Oh.
I know, it's insanity, isn't it? It's insanity.
Their family tree would come out like a tangled web, which of course is what they're trying to create. I mean, if you think about what's going on, it's a mirror. If you were from the other perspective and you were in one of these billionaire lifestyles, you can see it when you look at people who've, for whether through talent or whether they're part of the system, they're pushed up. I mean, Paul McCartney did the same. That have found fame and fortune in the music industry. I don't know of any that stay in their sort of family home if they were living on a council estate, for example. Very soon they would have to be living in somewhere exclusive, in a gated community, away from the rest of the world. That's their social distancing. Because, I mean, you see it so many times, people who won football pools or something, and you see the pictures with the massive checks, and it's funny how all these people suddenly write letters to them with sub stories. How do these people find out these addresses and these names of these people? Because the story is always put about that they get pestered by lots of letters. So finding people obviously.
If people realised that, oh, it's finished. Hang on, I don't know why the video's finished. If people realise that it's all fake, they could get their heads around that nothing on the television is real, none of it.
But if you were to see it from the other perspective, say, put yourself in the position of someone called Bill Gates. Now, if you lived in that gated community where you didn't interact with the commoners, you'd probably believe that what you were doing was right. From their perspective, it probably is right, because they don't interact with us. But it's all experience at the end of the day. Despite that it all looks doom and gloom and bad, it's not. It's actually the opposite. It's just seeing through the illusions.
Well, it's all an illusion, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all to distract. It's all to stop you finding that power source inside you, what is known as Jesus, the Christ consciousness, the charisma, your character, which you raise up inside yourself. What you actually see is a golden version of yourself that looks up at you. It's called David and calls you Father, because it is the seed of an idea, not a physical seed. The Creator or God is fractalized into every one of us. It's all an experience in this thing that this thing created. We are the co-creators of it. We do have the ability to change things by thought. I'll give you one example. How many people could climb up, say, a 400-foot high mast? How many people would freeze partway up through fear because their state of mind would stop their physical body from going any further? It would override what their body is trying to do, because the fear would get the better of them. It's all about state of mind.
It is. I think we have to rise ourselves above all that crap.
Yeah.
You know, like, no matter the royal, you know, we don't hear much about the royal families in Europe, but we seem to be playing all their parts.
Well, I don't acknowledge them. I don't have any interaction with them. They eat and shit and piss, same as everybody else, as far as I can see. The only difference is they've amassed a lot of wealth through ill-gotten gains. They have received stolen property. On that grounds alone, they're guilty.
I used to think a little bit differently about the Monaco one, especially with the American actress Grace, and then she died. You know, you've got that memory of it. But they're just showing the death of Princess Monaco's first husband in this boat. but now he's come back as Prince Ernest.
I suppose.
I have to laugh because it's so ridiculous. They have to have a death, don't they? They have to have a death. Nearly everybody has to. There you go. He's died.
Well, so, maybe OK Magazine or Cosmopolitan need a boost in sales and have to want a story for the front cover, maybe. I don't know.
What people don't realise is that I've tried to explain it before. You've got Dallas and Dynasty, okay? And then I said JR goes home. It's the same on this. They're just turning up, filming it, and they're actors. And then, yeah, it's the same thing with all the news. It's the same thing. They're just a programme for you. Just like Dallas and Dynasty and EastEnders and so forth.
Well, how about go and look at charities in England and Wales and pull up the finances, and then you look at something like National Trust and look at how many people are on sort of 120,000 a year. And then when you look at the breakdown of the finances, we're talking National Trust here. This is a charity, so we're told. They earn so much in government contracts. This is sounding more like a business. And why are all these top positions always appointed? Why are they not just people from the rank and file? And why are they on these astronomical sums of money? And don't forget government contracts. Where does the government's money come from? It's money they've taxed. I
feel really confused though. If you're playing Bush today, no, you're playing Trump today. I'd be really confused about who I was playing and what it was all about. I'd get it wrong.
Well, different type of acting, but I mean, really, at the end of the day, what's the difference?
I mean, you won't believe it. Trump is Bush Senior as well. They've got Sparky Lee's put pictures of Trump and Bush Senior together, and you won't believe it. They're so alike. Oh, I just want to scream. They're so alike, Bush and Trump. I never thought they would be, but they are so alike. They just get younger and younger as well, don't they? And Martin Sheen as well. I saw a different actor in him. I saw
Mr. Sheen.
I saw Michael Douglas. I saw Michael Douglas when he put Martin Sheen and Paul McCartney together. I saw Michael Douglas.
More than likely. It implies there's not that many of them as well.
No, do you know what? I when I went to London last time, that's exactly what David Icke said. We're run by only a few.
Yeah. What the situation you've got at the moment is, it's like, as I've said before, it's like the Vincent Price film Theatre of Blood. He's a bad actor, and he's going around murdering the critics. We are the critics saying this film script is shit. It doesn't make any sense. We've seen it all before, and here we go again. Same old script, just a different world stage to play it on. You can't verify anything. I mean, if you believe all the things, was it George Clooney has been executed for treason?
No, I don't believe any of those things, because Ellen DeGeneres came back yesterday or the day before, and was filming, so she had no tags on her, assuming that she did.
You can't verify any of it.
Well, I haven't watched because you have to wait for that to air, but it might have aired on Monday and I missed it, but, she's supposedly going to talk to everybody, and, because she's not very happy about being accused of all these things. Oh my God, I've just got to go back. James, you know what you were just saying, that you can't prove anything. Wait a minute, let's go back to here. Let's go back to this picture of Trump. Right, I'm going to stop the footage just for a minute. When it comes to it, on this picture here. Oh my God, I can see a layer now going over Trump's head to there. I'm sorry, Bush. There's a layer. I never would have noticed this before. There's a layer coming down there over his head. Because you see, I didn't think that they were going to go this far back and mess about with us. But they've been doing it for years. So it makes sense that they're doing it with Bush. But you can see that line going down there. So this is not a real person in the background. Oh.
It's all a trickle feed through the internet to get your attention I mean, you can't verify any of it. I mean, all the old books are always copies of the originals. You can't compare them to the originals to see what's real and what's not. But time isn't even linear. It's bound to glitch more and more. So, interesting times ahead, that's for sure. October, I said, is going to be Red October, because they will.
That's really strange. Somebody just came up with a red dress on when you said that.
Yeah. It's just symbology saying that the red carpet is a river of blood that all these VIPs walk on. That's all it is. It's just part of their sick ritual. It's boring. It's like same old scripts being played over and over.
You know what? Those are days when I would have if I'd watched it when this came out, I would have believed it, but I don't anymore. I don't believe it at all what they've done to us.
The other thing to take from it is, why do they have to do all this?
And it's such a big it's like a great big octopus with a million feelers, and there's no beginnings and there's no ends. Oh my God, yeah, as well. Bush Jr. played, he looks like Elvis Presley as well.
Its nature is cancerous. It's a parasite. And it spreads in the same way. You look at the way things are gone, petrochemical industry and the tiptoe buying up the media. I mean, how many films do you see where the media are being bribed or funded to put a particular story out in the newspapers, and then they buy the newspapers and gradually take more and more control? Centralisation of everything. Where's your independent shoemakers that they used to be? Where's your travelling brush and broom makers? Where's all these skills gone? Everything's been centralised so people can't do things for themselves.
Paul McCartney looks just like Bush. It's just I have to laugh, otherwise you'd go insane. I love Sparky Lee's work, but when I see it I have to laugh because you think, I hadn't thought of Paul McCartney being Bush before. That it was this bad. Like, oh God. Oh. But they are doing things like this to us, aren't they? They are. All the time.
Only if you watch them.
Only if you watch them, yeah. But I'm saying they are doing it to us.
Well,
and I slow the footage down, like that guy's walking up on the podium. I'm sorry, he's not. He was boxed in then. You suddenly realise that nothing you're looking at's real. It's all been put in and made for you.
It goes back to saying if you tell a lie, you've got to tell another lie to cover up the first lie, and that's how it spreads.
But many people realise that nothing they were watching was real, and it's all the same actors playing other parts.
Well, yeah, it's all illusions to look believable. That's all acting is. The more convincing actors are the ones that feel and become that part and become more believable.
Please, sir, can I have some more? Which is a bit of a joke, really. And he goes, "What, boy? What? And of course, yeah, we don't want any more. That's the point, is we don't want any more. We just want the truth. And I actually feel that when a prime president comes in, there's such a bad law, one of the first things he would have done was change that, because if we're never told the truth, what's the point? So he needed to have changed that law right at the beginning. And everybody's going, oh no, he can't do that till the second term. And you think, well, why would he be there in the first term if he can't do it to the second term? And he isn't going to do it anyway.
It's just small theatre, isn't it? I think. It's crazy.
Life is but a stage.
What did come out, I don't know if you remember when Trump met the Queen and he walked in front and the press made such a big thing out of it, and it proves that they could scrutinise things if they were wanting to get. Well, I
used that footage myself in a little footage, because when Trump walks past a soldier, the face goes weird. I mean, this is it. Look, I've just got to stop the video just for a little bit because I think we should. There you go. Right, everybody, look at. I'm gonna have to send a picture of it to show you, James, that they're the same people. I'm gonna do this for you now. Where should I send it? WhatsApp or Facebook? James?
Yes.
Should I send you this picture to WhatsApp or Facebook?
WhatsApp, please.
Okay, so this is just to show you that Biden and Trump are the same person. I want to see your response. It's disgusting.
I won't be able to see it at the moment.
Won't you?
No, because it's all on the same phone.
Yeah, you can go and have a look. I've just done it. I've just taken a picture while you're on a hangout. You know, when you're on a phone call to me. Come on, I'd love to see your response when you realise that they're the same person.
Nothing surprises me with any of it.
Huh?
Nothing surprises me with any of it.
Oh, but James, they are like... The only difference is that Trump's got more hair. Then you realise they're the same person. They smile the same. They've got the same noses. Oh, my God, it's disgusting.
Well, they're just doing a variation on the script, the biblical script with that one. The story of Esau and Jacob, the two brothers. One was covered in hair, one wasn't. It's representing the inner and the outer man.
You still can't go and look at it, James.
No, it's probably not come through yet.
Oh, what? Because you're on the phone? Yeah, it might not have come through. It's got one tick. You're right about that. But I might. What it is we'll end the hangout and then you can have a look and you can go, oh my God. Anyway, let's put the video on now because we've had a long enough wait on the fact that they're the same person. You can see they are. Like, really, you can see they are the same person.
Yeah.
I'm a bit shocked, really. I never thought of Biden being Trump. This is why none of the videos are real. I don't even know how they do it. Some virtual reality.
That can be done on the green screen.
Yeah, there you are. They look like they're standing in front of all these people, but really they're standing in a gym with a few photographers around them.
It's no different from filming inside the pub in EastEnders and then filming inside the terraced house down the road. It's all within one film set.
I was just saying I'd be so confused because they'd be going, who am I playing today, Biden or Trump? Oh no, I'm Stefano, whatever his name is, from France. It was Princess Caroline's first husband. I'll play him today. How confusing is that?
Right, it's just for keep people distracted, really. That's all it's for.
But they've got to make all these people for us.
Most of it, it's like, well...
What people don't realise, James, very quickly, is when you've got Trump, there's not just one Trump, there's about three of him. Hillary plays one of them. And Biden's the other one. There's someone else as well. There's always about two or three people who play the parts.
It's nothing new.
Or maybe it's more. Maybe it's the deep faker on the side. A bit of the deep faker will always go into the film, and that's why you go, he's changed a bit today. Because they can't, yeah.
They show it in Star Wars with Princess, whatever her name is disguised as a servant, and the servant's disguised as a princess, as a decoy. The Hitler train did it with decoy trains. It's nothing new. All these lookalikes. So if one gets assassinated, then nothing changes.
Yeah, it'd be like, oh, the script is you're killed off today. Oh, great. I've got one less part to play.
It's famously quoted that Eagle Edinburgh said when he dies he wants to come back as a virus. Well, has he? Are they running that script?
I just don't know what they're doing. But Princess Monaco, she plays Caroline. She plays a few different parts. I'm just a bit gobsmacked that they play so many parts. Oh.
What they're doing is what they're meant to be doing, trying to give humanity a great big shake-up and wake it up out of its dream.
How do these people sleep at night? That's if they're real and not just computer programs, but how do they sleep at night? For anybody who loves Trump. He's Biden. So you're getting the same man anyway. Oh, think about it. You've got a choice, Biden or Trump, to vote for. And no matter who you put the tick to, you're going to get the same man.
They probably sleep very well at night because they're probably just counting dollars or laughing about how many people they've got fooled. They would seem to have no conscious...
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to send that picture to Marilyn as well to show her that Trump is Biden. Oh, I don't know what to say. It's just a bit mind-boggling, isn't it?
It's that sort of side.
James, I thought you were going to talk a bit about the Bible today.
Yeah. Not since I where do you want me to start?
Well, we might have to do another one now. We've been going for about 50 minutes, but start where you want to. Hello?
Hello? Yeah.
Let's start where you want to.
Okay. Well, we can look at it. Well, I suppose look at it for what it's not. It's the first place to start, and that is, it is not a secular story. It is not a historical story. It's anything else but. It's your autobiography. It is telling you the journey of your spirit inside your human body. All these characters are all states of mind. When we're talking about Jacob and the coat of amazing colours, it's the 7 chakras.
Okay, stop there for 2 seconds.
Right. Well, for a start, you've got your 2 books called the Testaments. Well, ment is Greek for mind. It's a test of the mind. It's basically telling you giving you instructions on how to find yourself. The Christ is the power source within each and every one of us in the solar plexus, the place of the sun. It's all been written in a way that is allegorical, and it's certainly not to be taken literally, because it makes absolutely no sense if you try and take it literally. What you would end up with, if you take it in the literal sense, is you've got this creator who doesn't like that it's given humanity free will, and then because the free will has decided it's going a particular way, that it wipes everything out in a flood, which indicates that this thing is a psychopath. But when it's read in the right way, it is basically very much like a child in thinking. It's created something in its imagination. This is where you get created in the image of. So we are all part of it in a form, because this creator is in many forms. It's all the back screen, what we see when we look out and see the Earth. That's the planet is the planet. This is where the vowel shift comes in, where they've changed the A to an E sound and the E to an I sound and the O to a U sound and so on. So it messes everything up. So the electrics are all actrix, because they're doing it all electronically through the media, keeping everybody in a state of fear. Because when you are in a state of fear, it leads to ill health. They keep putting out that there's too many people, and they want to reduce the herd because it becomes unmanageable. Same as a farmer. If you were to have a herd of cows, and then you have all the young cows, then you're going to sell them or send them to the slaughterhouse, because otherwise you've got too many. You can't manage them.
Right.
That looks to be the script that they're playing again, and it looks to be something that is played over and over. But as we are all part of the creator, all that happens is you've got an unlimited ride in this crazy house, and you just keep going round and round and round. And you'll go into a physical vessel most suited.
Oh my God! I just got to stop you for 1 second. James.
You could find yourself
James.
up as a slave in ancient Egypt.
Sorry. Disney is Tesla.
Sorry?
He's just putting up pictures that Disney is Tesla.
Oh dear.
They took his photograph and that's Tesla. Sorry, carry on. Sorry, just the video in the background. You should watch the video in the back. Oh my God, George Best is... Wait a minute. He's some royalty in Europe. He is. Oh my God, he's so dead. I'll tell you, I won't put my eyes on that anymore. I'm listening to James. Carry on, James.
Yeah, so interestingly, you've got 66 books. We are 6 neutrons, 6 protons, 6 electrons. It tells you in Revelation 13 the number of man is 666. You've got that saying in English of all at 6s and 7s, which is in a state of confusion. What they're trying to do, what they're telling you with all of this, and this is why you've got no more than 6 can gather, 6 foot under, 6 foot apart. Great Fire of London in 1666, William the Conqueror in 1066. They're trying to keep that crown chakra, the 7th chakra, hidden. It's encoded in the pyramids in the 51 degrees, because 5 and 1 makes 6. The answer is given to everybody in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The meaning of life is 42, which is 6 times 7. It's encoded in everything. Numerology. We've moved off from the Bible here, but it's just one great big play, basically, and the creator is playing every part, going through the experience. That's all it is. We are just the physical expression of it that is going through the experience. But the trick is to make us think we are our ego and our personality, and we believe we are individual, separate little me's, which is a system programming. We are co-creators, and we have the ability to create from thought. That is what is being hidden from us.
Yeah, do you know what? They just put up that Freddie Mercury is Sid Vicious.
Oh, good grief.
In the background, the pictures are swirling over. He does.
No wonder he made the song "I Want to Break Free."
He do look very alike. Oh my God! Wait a minute. We've got Tony Blair. Wait a minute. We've got Tony Blair is.
I think Queen were telling the truth when they said all we hear is Radio Goo Goo, Radio Gaga. That's all you get.
Oh my God! It's Sid Vicious again. Blair is Sid Vicious. You have to laugh, like they look very alike, like you wouldn't believe it. Oh my God. Next one, Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart is, wait, Buddy Holly. Wow, they do look quite alike, would you believe, when they were younger. Anyway, carry on, James. That's 2 more of them on there. Just like, oh dearie me. Everybody's playing everybody else.
Well, again, that's reflecting the biblical script of the creator is playing every part and going through all these states of mind. So that's their version of it, really. It's just a mirror.
Johnny Rotten is Princess Anne.
Oh, dear.
I don't know where to put this. Bill Gates has a lot of parts, by the way. He's played a lot of people on this video, which people will just watch it as it goes along. So what made you look into all this then, James?
I sort of led to
Oh
it,
my
really.
God, Fauci's Peter Sellers. I'm sorry, carry on, James.
I was sort of led in this direction, and it sort of really started to make sense. You've got some really big names, 3 different, well, should we say some of the greatest minds. Neville Goddard, Edgar F. G. Casey, and trying to think of the third one. Someone of that calibre anyway, and very much in line with Madame Blavatsky, showing that we are part of the creator, or what people call God, is our own wonderful human imagination. You can see where the whole idea of the Big Bang Theory comes from, because what is the limits of your imagination? Only you can decide that. What you'll accept as real and what you'll dismiss as not real is the limit of your imagination. But the magic happens because everything starts from thought. So even, say, like a building goes up, that started as a thought in the mind of an architect. Hence they've got the expression, the grand architect. Because there is some sort of grand architects behind all these machinations and theatre with politics and all the things shown on the TV. So there is an architect behind that somewhere. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't even have to be real. If you've got people with billions of dollars of disposable income, if they're following something they believe in, it suddenly becomes very real to the rest of us. If it's something they're doing that is affecting the rest of us, which it is. Or they're trying to, anyway.
Vinnie Connolly is John Cleese.
Oh. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, you do know that we did a hangout with, you were there with Claude, what's his name from America, you know, likes being with Santos.
Claudio.
Oh, what's his name? I've forgotten his name now. Freak TV, him.
Oh, Charlie Freak.
Charlie Freak. Oh my God, the Queen's played by Elton John.
You don't,
he did the same sort of thing, didn't he? Where he said that the Bible was about the body, and you get to the shoulders, and then it's crucifixion to the brain. You have to get from the shoulders to the brain. What do you make of it?
The cross is the human body. The Christ on the cross, it's a naked man because it's the inner man. It's the consciousness. The power of God is the Christ. When that is lifted up into the heavens, which is Golgotha, which is in the skull, where God exists, this is why you have an only son, because it's come from the place of the sun, the solar plexus. It's gone up the 33 vertebrae. This also ties into astrology, because you have your Saturn return at the age of, first Saturn return is at the age of 30. The astrology is reflecting what's going on in the human body as well. The whole thing is interconnected. The wandering stars of the planets, or the planets like Mars and Mercury and things, it's the magnetic frequencies off of those that have a direct effect on us. We are electromagnetic beings in these biological vessels, basically.
Right.
You can interpret the Bible in astrology. You can interpret it as human psyche. You can interpret it as mathematics, geometry. Everything is all encoded into it. But if you read it as a literal story, it makes no sense whatsoever. You've got talking snakes, you've got this god, and then he creates this adversary of equal power, which you wouldn't do. They're all aspects. It's like this Saturn. It's portrayed as being something evil, and it's not. It's another aspect of, it's saying the I am in everything. I mean, if you're asked your name, you say I am, and then your name. Or you can describe how you feel. I am in love, I am happy, I am sad.
Oh my God, I'm really sorry, James. I just got to say, I mean, look, 50 cents is I can't think of his name now. I'm so shocked. Just got to go back. Back here, come on, back here. Yeah, it's going to show here. I'm just going to tell you in a minute. It's who's the boxer, the one that bit off the ear? Him. It's him.
Oh,
Tyson.
Yeah.
Yeah, 50 Cent is Tyson, and oh my God, they're identical. Is Mike Tyson? How do these people ever sleep at night? You know, you're talking about something completely different. That something completely different's happening to the people. Total lying. Oh no! I'm sorry, James. I'm just gonna stop the video a minute. Oh my god! You know that there's this sort of Japanese guy that comes on, talks about space. It's
Oh, Cocoa Pops, Cocoa.
Yeah, guess who he is? Have a guess who he is.
Don't tell me it's Mr. Sulu in Star Trek.
No, he died a long time ago.
Oh, right.
It's he did Kung Fu.
Bruce Lee, I suppose.
Yes. And he's putting in men and women. They don't mind playing the opposite sex in these things. Gee. Oh no, Arthur Scargill is. We just wait. Oh no, it's Margaret Thatcher. Oh my god. I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown by the end of the Bruce Lee is Jackie Chan. They are quite alike, would you believe? Never thought about that before. So he's a millionaire twice. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, a lot of stuff comes up about the Bible. How do you feel about all the books which aren't put in there, though? It's like 50 odd books not put in there. 65, isn't there, or something?
Logically, I mean, you've only got to look at the evolution of mankind. I mean, I'd be shouting from a hilltop, communicating with you, which then became smoke signals, and now we've moved to an age where we're using instant electronic communication. So, with all these lookalikes and things, anything's possible. But yeah, the books, I would have thought that the whole thing would have been handed down as some sort of oral tradition that then, as forms of writing came about, then were put into books. But obviously the earliest ones have not survived. We've only got copies, interpretations, translations, when there should be transliterations. An example would be if I was to say, let's go out and paint the town red. Now, people in the UK would understand what that means, but if you were to translate that into, say, Taiwanese or something, would they then get this picture of people going out painting buildings and pavements and roads completely red? Or raining cats and dogs is another one. I mean, it's not something taken literally, but this is the trouble with translations instead of transliterations, because the meaning isn't conveyed. It gets lost in the translation. And this has been capitalised on a lot by mixing different things together. So you've got the astrology, the human psyche, and everything all jumbled up in this book, or this series of books. And they don't fit in quite with the rest of the narrative, get removed. But who decides what's in and what's out? It does say in the 66 books that they shouldn't be altered, and it's the absolute word of God, and so the whole thing just falls apart on that.
Oh my god! They've got Richard Branson is David Icke. Sorry, it just comes up, and anyway. Yeah. So you're saying the same thing then, that the Bible is a journey to yourself.
Yeah, it's just the trouble is you've got words like Jesus, which has been so hijacked because the religions are all do the classic thing like a narcissist appears to be something good to lure you in, and it's that's that drummed in mindset. But to me, it's a misspelling. It's G. The letter G is us. The G is the representation of Gaia, or the old name for Earth. So we are G, God, in an Earth form. Between the two A's, the two pillars, you've got an I. Again, you could see that as a reference to the third eye, the third pillar. Well, there is no third pillar, but the middle path between the two pillars, the soul liars, the solar cult, and the lunatics, the lunar cult. People are caught in the crossfire politically. It's like, do you vote red or do you vote blue? There's a middle ground between the two. Don't fall for either of them. Biden, I mean, the name just sounds like a joke, like buy. Well, that means one of two ways: Biden, a den, or you play your trump card. To me, it's the same script from two slightly different angles. It's almost like there's a power struggle and two different differences of opinion on the best way of going about the same script.
Yeah, they've got a picture up here of Kennedy and President afterwards. What's Nixon? They do look so alike.
I mean, you think about what's coming up from a commercial point of view. You've got all the Halloween cat in the shops, and then you'll have all the madness of Christmas. There'll be and Black Friday sales and things. They still want the income. The greed will. They want to flip things again.
So why do they put us through all this then? Taking our jobs away. We've got no money then. How does that work? Won't be able to buy the £1,000 phone.
Oh no, it just seems to be the same script as being played before. What's hinted at with the destruction of Tartaria, with herding up large numbers of people and moving them, putting them in asylums. All that fear porn stuff is implying it's heading that way. I think that is all purely put there to get you in a state of fear, to get you in a state of ill health. I mean, it's laughable that you cannot advertise and say you found a cure for cancer.
1 second, James.
Yeah, this year I've seen some very low, large moons that look, it's like almost like, is that another planet? It doesn't look right.
What Robert's doing is he started to film, and a quarter of the, well, not maybe a quarter, but getting on for a quarter of the sun, or the moon, whatever it is. Now, what's this? This must be the sun. Is missing. We'll play it anyway because we're recording, like you were saying, James.
Yeah, you've only got to look how ludicrous things are. Like, no one can advertise and say they found a cure for cancer unless it's in line with the 1939 Pharmaceutical or Cancer Act, which has to go through the pharmaceutical industry. I mean, you've only got to look at, when you look at stocks and shares, NHS Trust is floated on stocks and shares. It's a business. It's in the business of sickness.
That's bad, that is, though.
It's not in the business of public health. It's in the business of healthy profits. People just don't see the reverse speech and things. It's like when they're talking about...
You would just hope that that one
reasons,
thing was not in that kind of system, wouldn't you? I know that maybe it needs to be funded by something, but we have all those lottery tickets. We could have been funding it ourselves with lottery tickets if you wanted. But it's just that they put it into a money-making thing. It's always going to change it, isn't it?
Well, the system creates narcissists and the greedy and in mindsets. And then it's reinforced with showing you the lucky winners. And people are chasing this dream of ginormous odds against them actually winning. But it's another stealth tax. The whole thing, they tell you exactly what it is. It's a criminal justice system. It is justice for the criminals. Everything is a scam. We are pagans. We are paying again. If you inherit money, you then pay inheritance tax. It's already been taxed, but they're making you pay more tax on it. They rob and steal at every subtle level going. You can't buy anything without it having tax added onto it. So this government money is all the money they've taken, which they then decide where it's going to go, We don't get a say in where that money's spent. I don't agree with a lot of things it's being spent on. And why is it decades of homeless problems, and overnight, since this whole nonsense started, we haven't got a homeless problem anymore? It's solved overnight. We don't have people dying of cancer anymore. We don't have people dying of heart attacks. That's all suddenly gone quiet. It's just one big facade. There's the mask. It's a masquerade. The whole thing. It's just a great big facade, same as the buildings. They've got facades all over them. Fake history, fake everything.
This bit with the Bible, where did you want to go? You're just going to make some more videos about it?
Yeah, because it is such an enormous subject to cover. It's not something, well, it's like everything. You can't sort of explain it in one easy, bite-sized sentence.
No, I don't think people realise that you cannot, they just want those 20-second videos. It's all thrown in your face. When you're explaining all this, you just can't do it in 20 seconds. I can't show my videos in 20 seconds. You need time to explain it, and you hope that the people have got the patience to listen.
It's system programming. It's said that people's attention span is no more than 8 minutes these days. I quite believe it. There's so many distractions that are put in front of people. The system encourages it. They want people distracted. They don't want people focusing on what really matters. So
it's a bit frustrating, that, isn't it, James?
Things could get as stupid and as crazy. I jokingly said this. I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing a campaign for Black Masks Matter. You've got designer masks now. You can have. There's money to be made out of all this. I wish I'd invested in Perspex for all these shops. I'd have made a fortune.
Well, how does they think that is to stop rioting, not to stop masks and coronavirus?
It's just to keep up the pretense. People
It's making the shops pay out money that they didn't have to pay in the first place.
It's all theatre. They're not seeing the screens in front of them. Even when they put them all right in front of the till. This is what I said. People
they've got to be in on
from the Titanic.
They've got to decide that they've lost that money on tax, because the corporations run everything. I mean, when you look at the QAnon one the other day when I was put that on, and me and Trouble were talking, basically, they like doing things like this. This is the whole point, that basically the businesses decided, well, instead of having the rules made on us, we'll make the rules. And that's what they did. So you think that the rules are against them, but the rules are against you. And to be honest, that's what terms and conditions are, aren't they, really? Terms and conditions aren't about protecting you. What they actually do is tell you what the other person's not responsible for. But you think it's protecting you.
It's like when something is in the interest of national security. It's not your security, it's their security, because they don't want you to find out who's behind it. They're all little subtle ways. It's always said in reverse. The Queen's speech about this pandemic was being pulled apart, what she was really saying. It's all about orphan trains and things again.
What? Orphan trains?
Yeah, she alluded to children and Operation Pied Piper in that speech. And I heard it, I thought, yeah, she's doing the reverse speech. It's like, we're always led to believe that anything the Queen or the Prime Minister or whatever is going to say is scrutinised and checked. And as been shown, the 1953 coronation, Queen Elizabeth told the truth. She said in sincerity. She didn't say in all sincerity. So that can be interpreted as she's being insincere, which she is. She is telling the truth. But people miss it because they don't hear what's being said. And she's done just that. She is guilty of treason, of selling and giving away the power of England to Brussels. You've now got a repeat script. Instead of Berlin and satellite puppet governments in Europe under Nazi Germany, it's been moved to Brussels. But it's still the EU dictating to satellite puppet governments. They're called EU directives. Same people, same script.
Do you know where the Queen is lately? People have been asking me that.
Probably Balmoral. But who cares, really?
Well, you know that it's because the coronavirus
dust,
isn't over. Because what it is we're all kind of walking around quite normal, except for masks in shops and on public transport. But, you know, when the job centre is shut up and the Queen isn't here, I'd say we're still in lockdown.
Well, you've got your second wave. It's another flood reference. They've been talking about a second wave since probably April or May. I think the first time I heard it, I thought, yeah, very funny. It's the same as if you phone up Department of Work and Pensions, they play water music because they're just laughing at you. They're keeping you waiting in a drowning in a sea of lies. That's why they play water music. None of this is coincidental. It's all just sadistic laughter at us all the way through. Comedy has come die because that is always... It's sick, twisted humour when you see it for what it really is. They're laughing at us. It's distraction, but it's laughing at us all the time.
Oh yeah, they're definitely laughing at us.
Yeah.
Definitely. James, we've been going on for an hour and a half right now. It's quite a good one for you and me. Did you...
Well, just to end on a final note on this, I mean, people think transgender is something new. Think of panto. Why is the dame always played by a man? That was the subtle tiptoe way of introducing that. There's nothing new. It's just repeat scripts.
Is there anything else you wanted to say on the Bible? Do you want to do that in another hangout? We didn't talk that much on the Bible.
Yeah, do it on another one, because it's such a colossal thing to cover.
Yeah, it's probably going to take you a few videos to do that one, isn't it?
Yeah, probably 66, one for each book.
Really?
No, I'm joking. It's just, really, all people need to do is just start reading it in the right way. In fact, you could do like Black Mad Guru channel, and you could, he does a book, you can buy it, 66 books of magic, and every time where it's got Jesus Christ, it's blank, and you can write your own name in, because it is about you. It's everybody's autobiography. He's quite correct on that. So, yeah,
it's all a bit of delusion, corruption, betrayal. It's lots of things, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, if you think of what most of us would call the asleep, the masses. I mean, with a petty crime, if detectives thought that way, the first person that would be assumed to be the guilty party would be the one found guilty, because the majority of people seem to have got transfixed and do like a Mandela jump with this wearing masks and thinking it's normal. But when they're presented with new information which contradicts that, they just won't accept it. That, I think, has to be frequency in the television that is doing that. There's something going on that is making people jump with this reality, but it's not affecting all of us. Because it's like, so you're worried about a virus, but so you're promoting an antibacterial hand gel.
Put something on, hang on, put something on. My phone went on, sorry. Carry on. You don't hear it, but it just went on.
It's just something so simple as going on Google and looking into the nature of a virus and what temperatures it can exist at, because it's not a living organism. It needs to be attached to something living for it to function. It's dead. But people will not even look at that, and then we're going around in total confusion. But
because it's all crazy, that's why. Like, putting that video up with Sparky showing those, like, it's hard to believe that Diana or Elton John, they were other people, but they were. They're actors.
It'll just suddenly spring up out of nowhere as well, and then disappear just as quick. I mean, you just type in the 27 Club and look how many singers, people like Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, all mysteriously die at the age of 27. It's all symbolism again. 2 and 7 makes 9. You know, it's the final number. It's just more gripped the ether again.
You have to remain with an open mind and just keep watching, because other people will bring stuff up, and just have an open mind. But James, we have to come back and do a bit more of the Bible then. We didn't do that much of the Bible.
Okay.
I thought that's why we were coming on today.
Yeah, I got sidetracked.
Got sidetracked with life. Well, shall we stop the hangout here? I'd like to say thank you very much, James. Chat room. Thank you, James.
Thank you.